you do that? How did you do that?
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us.
How you doing?
Good, man. It's nice to hear from you. Are you in-game?
I am, yes.
Is it Xynode, perchance?
It might be.
There you go. So we'll get you an invite. Let me give you the broad strokes while we get together. Though that may take seconds. Up, too late. Forget it.
Sorry, I was laughing at your name.
Yes, gotcha.
Awesome. So yeah, the main thing about this is it's a new zone. It is a zone that is the size of Murkmire or Clockwork City, roughly. Mm-hmm. It comes complete with a zone story. It's like an 8 to 10 hour story. It has several objectives, a couple delves, a couple group bosses, a bunch of independent content quests, a bunch of dailies. One of the coolest things that is different from other ones that we've done is this is the finale of the Season of the Dragon. So for the first time, we got an opportunity to do something a little different in that if you have played Northern Elsewhere to completion and Southern Elsewhere to completion, and again, they both have their own complete storylines, you unlock an additional capper quest that you can play.
Okay.
And that is several quests that are the culmination of the entire season, year of the dragon, as opposed to just this zone, which is kind of cool. So if you've been paying attention, and I know you have, then all 4 of these stories should lead into what we hope and I feel is a good, satisfying conclusion. And Jason will kind of touch on it a bit. We don't want to give you too many spoilers.
Sure.
So honestly, that's kind of the coolest thing, and the main reason we love it is because it gives us a real good opportunity to tell a story that is longer than a single unit of content. In the past, we've done it over the course of multiple years, and that was just a little too long. So it's really nice for us to get to tell a contained story and get people to get what the beginning, middle, and end of the story is, and make sure that all 4 of our quarters has a beat that's got a little something for everyone. It's also been nice because it encourages other people to play like the dungeons and things that they wouldn't necessarily try, so then they get a little more of the content.
Gotcha.
Really worked well from dungeons leading straight into prologue leading straight into the zones. But all this stuff. The other cool thing that we've done is we've done a massive revamp of LFG. As you're familiar, in the past, it has had major problems under load.
Yeah.
We have listened to the concerns, we voiced our own, we threw out the underlying code and have started from the ground up and rebuilt something. The focus is on performance and on consecutive users. I'm blanking on the name. Lots of people.
Okay.
We've actually had this for a little while now. We've tested it under load with bots, as well as brought it into PTS. We're pretty excited. We think it's going to go a long way towards helping a lot of the problems that we had, because it is super important for people to be able to play together, and we want to support that. So we're looking forward to finally getting that out in front of people. I would point out it looks exactly the same, but the back end is completely different.
Yeah.
Performance improvements. This is also the first update that we've actually started with our performance improvement plan. This is not going to be a magic bullet, of course. We're working on incremental changes, which should slowly but surely give us improvements across the way. The big ones of note this go round are we did major changes to our memory management in terms of the way the game handles memory. This should help improve stability and should result in fewer crashes. There may be slight improvement to frame rate, but that's not actually the goal or the end product there.
Sure.
This will happen later down the line. Similarly, we've started hard coding some of our more used abilities, for example, our passives. Mm-hmm. What this will do is we won't end up hitting the server a whole bunch of times to do as many seeks. So it should help improve things there as well. Again, I will point out there's no magic bullet. There's incremental changes, but we should start seeing some improvement, and we're excited to kind of get that ball rolling.
Yeah, so it's going to take a bit of time.
Yeah. Like I said, you should see some improvement this time around, but it is not going to be day and night.
Yeah,
not at
of
all.
course. It's not the end game just yet.
Yeah, but yeah, this is the start of something. So,
Patience.
and exactly. As always, there's new items, new rewards, new monsters, and some new dragon updates. But I will let Jason give us a tour, and we can talk about that stuff as we're running along.
Awesome.
All right. So, yeah, I'll kind of keep it high level as we kind of go through the area, try not to spoil anything like that. You know, if you have any questions as we're going through it, by all means, ask away. We'll, you know, mostly be hitting on kind of the content, environmental stuff, kind of some of the rewards and things like that. So, yeah, well, let's get started. So, you'll start in Central, obviously, as we're standing here right now. And basically the premise behind the story here in Southern Elsewhere is 20 years ago, the Knothan flu came through the area and basically wiped out like 2/3 of the population. In addition to that, the people thought it would be a smart idea to try to burn out the flu when it was at its most prominent state. And unfortunately just lit a bunch of wildfires and burned the entire southern coast down. They also lit the exterior of the city up and burned that down as well. So that was not a good move for them. Yeah. So ever since then, the people have kind of been struggling to pick back up and figure out, you know, how to get back to where they were before that. Because of that, however, there's been a lot of lawlessness, a lot of pirates, bandits, things like that, that have just kind of come into the region and taken over because there's very few guards or soldiers or any type of military force in the area. The only force really being here in Central itself as the Shields of Central, which we find out a bit more about why they're here later on. But of course, we are joined with our buddy Sai Sahan from the base game. And he has come to Southern Elsewhere basically to reform the Dragon Guard. He wants to give these people a chance or a way to fight back against the dragons that have now also come to add to the pain of the people. And so the player's kind of main goal throughout the main quest will be working with him to reform the Dragon Guard and find a way to give the people a chance to fight back and kind of reclaim Southern Elsewhere for themselves. So one of the cool things here is the palace in the city is actually a palace from lore. It's a place that's mentioned in several history books throughout the world, talking about kind of it used to be ruled by the Akaviri, and the Morak Tonk came in a long time ago and basically murdered the guy and took his blood and wrote all over the walls that the Morak Tonk did it. This is the first time we're actually showing that palace in a game, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, we touch on it a little bit here as well. But it's always neat to be able to show something that's really prominent from lore. And actually have it in the game. So as we kind of work through our way in Central, one of the themes here is a lot of refugees have come into the area because of the dragon attacks and pirates and bandits and everything like that. The walls of Central are really the only safe place, so to speak, for these people. So they've kind of been flooding into the city. Got our lovely little bread line here. Everyone waiting to get stew. But that's kind of found throughout the city reflected as the general theme as far as, hey, this is kind of what's going on. This is not a great place to be in right now. As we kind of get to the outskirts, you'll notice that we kind of mentioned this is the area that kind of burnt down and was decimated. So right now it's actually being used by a lot of the refugees to come in and, you know, find a place to stay. They're living in the ruins and amongst all these burnt building pieces and everything. So they still use it, but, you know, it's clearly very different than the rest of the city. I call it the shanty town. They have a lot of these kind of built up pieces that are attached to the walls where people can sleep and live in. So,
sorry, I spotted a dragon.
No, that's fine.
We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll actually hop through here. Because, yeah, there's some new changes for the dragons as well. And we'll get to that as well. Let's get out to the road here. Make sure everyone's with me.
Yep.
All right, cool. Where is the dragon right now?
I saw him off to the right.
Okay.
Throw him
Is
over
there
the wall.
an easy way to get up there? Let's see.
I think you go up that path
You
there.
don't have dev commands on PTS, rip.
Makes things so hard. Yeah, so we'll kind of, yeah, the dragons, if we get up to them, actually, no, I don't think this path does go up there. Crap. Can't fly over the wall. We'll
No.
let him come back down in a second.
Okay.
We'll work it to the east. So speaking of, yeah, that's one of the new features that we added to dragons compared to Northern and elsewhere. We wanted to make them feel more alive.
Yeah.
Even though they're awesome and they're cool to fight, they were in Northern and elsewhere somewhat static. You know, they'd pick a location, they'd land, and they'd just hang out there until you murdered them.
That's very
Now-
true, yeah.
Yeah, now they'll land, they'll kind of mess up the area by breathing on it and destroying the area, and then they'll pick up and leave and actually find a new location, and they'll keep doing that until they're actually engaged in combat. Once they're actually engaged, they'll stay at the location as to not make it annoying from
So
like
they
flying.
don't always fight in the same spot?
So they will. He's doing it now. Actually, he got bored because nobody engaged him, so he's going to another location.
Whoa!
Yeah, isn't that cool? So then, yeah, we can
Yeah,
chase him down, and once we engage him, then he'll stay there unless he kicks our ass and then gets bored
So
again.
he'll fight us wherever he is, rather than
Well,
where he
he
always
will-
goes to.
He will still fight in the standard dragon locations,
Right, okay.
but he will move between locations. So you will not always see him in the one that you saw him in initially. And
Gotcha.
obviously, you still see him on the map. I should also say that all of these changes are also being changed in Southern Elsewhere. I mean, Northern
Oh,
Elsewhere.
nice. So it's going to be more active.
Mhm.
So yeah,
That's really cool.
I'm sorry, I'm stealing your thunder.
No,
Go,
that's
Dragon.
fine.
Or
Do
go,
it, do it.
Jason.
Go, Dragon.
Go,
Man.
Dragon, go!
You'll notice too, he's actually walking around. That's
Yeah.
actually a change from Northern and elsewhere. They're now many of the dragons are mobile, so as you fight them, they'll actually move and chase you. So they won't be so static. They won't just stay stationary.
Gotcha.
As you notice too, the Skybox, we've updated that too.
Yeah,
so
that's
when you
really,
engage,
really awesome.
It's, you know, we've like figured out how do you make dragon fights even more epic, and you light the sky on fire. That's basically that was our answer. And, I
That's
got
really,
burned
really
apart.
cool. I like that. I did see it on your dev stream where you were
Yeah, yeah.
killing the lightning one. I think it was lightning, and the whole
Yeah.
sky turned into like a storm.
Yep.
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 And as you said, there are two new dragon types. There is now Storm and Light, or I'm sorry, what is it? Storm and Frost. I was about to say the same ones.
So
Yes, and those will also be in Northern Elsewhere as well.
this
the-
system. Sorry, carry on.
I was
To
to say
lay
the not every location will feature a mobile dragon, meaning a grounded dragon moving around. We just
Mhm.
felt like that might feel too samey. So certain locations where it makes sense, like this large open one, the dragons will walk around, but not
Right.
in every location. And then, yeah, you can never tell what type of dragon you might get.
No, that's really
Is there
cool.
anything else? Yeah, I think those are the coolest parts about it. Yeah, it moves, it gets bored, it rolls. It actually sets things on fire, so you'll actually see the environment change in addition to your standard of if it's a soldier camp, and when it rolls in, the soldiers will all run for cover. But yeah, we think it feels a lot more engaging, a lot more like he's part of the environment now.
So there's two things here. One, first of all, his walking around is intimidating as hell because you've added some audio to that where it sounds like he's actually really heavy.
Yeah.
So you can hear him walking like step by step. Also, he looks like he's in a bad mood because he's spitting fire everywhere. But is this going to reflect in Northern Elsewhere as far as the skyboxes are concerned? Will you
Yes.
have that for those two? Ah, nice. Okay.
Let me say, I am pretty positive.
Okay. Oh,
I don't want to lie to you. I am pretty sure the plan was everything we changed here, we were going to change there. So I'm pretty
is
that it's done.
pretty big.
I think the only one that might not be in Northern elsewhere is them walking around certain locations because we built the area.
Your mic's really quiet.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me any better?
I think you're hearing me
Whoops.
through my
Sorry.
mic.
I had the mute on because I was drinking coffee.
Yeah,
Sorry about
nice. Me too.
I think the only change for Northern elsewhere that might not reflect is the mobility as far as them chasing after you, moving around.
Sure,
because some of the locations when we built them out in northern elsewhere are a little bit smaller. They weren't really made for the dragons to run around. So that might be the only change. I could be wrong on that, but
it does. Not everyone though.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're right. Not every location. This is small, but this is another one of our new monsters. This is the Adax, just inspired by real life. Probably one of the only ones. And now it's gone.
and he's dead.
Trophy.
Just like that. Yep.
Although the visuals are absolutely amazing, and obviously you've added all the sound and everything to it as well, which is really cool. How does that reflect in performance? Because obviously that's an addition. That's something that we haven't seen before. Is it quite smooth, or is it something that you had any struggles with while you were producing it or creating it even?
We have not seen any real major performance issues relative to that. That said, that might happen when you get into a giant Zerg. But the environment changes. We've actually done that a number of times before.
Gotcha. So all the
Just
particle
not
effects added to it aren't a
place.
major issue.
Yeah, I think it's more Skybox. It's more a background look.
So
Yeah,
it's
it's
not
just swapping one for one.
stuff in your
basically.
face.
Yep.
Mm-mm.
And that's
Yeah,
it.
it's taking out the skybox that's there currently, like the blue sky, and just simply replacing it with the fiery one. So it's not like adding it on top of it.
Excellent.
It's just swapping it. So yeah.
And can you see that from a distance?
You cannot.
Okay.
You will not see that. I'm pretty sure that's how it works.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
believe
like
you have
a
to be
dolmen?
engaged.
Yep. Yeah.
So
it's,
when
it's
you-
basically when you enter the radius or the subzone area around that, it should change. That's typically the way that tech works.
Gotcha. So it's a similar to the Dolmen, basically. It transitions from normal day to, oh my god, doom and gloom.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty
A
cool.
really nice addition to the look.
This is
Here
awesome.
you see another
So
one of our.
you
yeah,
killed
this
it.
is our- No, he's hiding. He's
Oh,
hiding.
wow.
Yeah. So this is another one of our fun-loving creatures, the Glipton. And yeah, he'll hide. You can kill him if you're a monster. But yeah, he immediately hides as soon as you hit him, and he does not like fight. He's a pacifist.
Can we get a saddle?
Not the first time I've
Positive,
heard
yes.
He'd be a really slow mount. Like that guy doesn't move very fast.
Yeah, but he's
Just-
epic. If we decorated him and put really cool shapes on him, it would be really, really awesome.
Put stripes, racing
Yep.
stripes.
Definitely.
That's what I was thinking. I
Spoiler.
needed like a jet engine on the back.
All right, so continuing kind of the tour here, we're heading into Southgard Ruins, playing up that kind of theme of pirates and whatnot. The idea here is this used to be kind of the main docks district of Central. Like Central, the city itself used to actually extend all the way down to this coast. And this is where the kind of the prominent docks and trading area was before the wildfires hit. Of course, when the wildfires hit, it decimated everything, and now it's just ruined. But one of the things we want to show is a combination of, yeah, there's clearly a fire here 20 years ago, but the wilderness has kind of reclaimed itself. There's a lot of natural growth coming back, a lot
Gotcha.
of stuff just kind of overgrowing it. It's kind of wild and just
Hey,
kind
don't melt this guy.
Don't.
of watch.
Whoa,
melt him,
he's
watch
big.
him.
Oh, not that.
Not that guy. The other
that
guy.
guy can melt it. Yeah.
He's
we
got,
want,
The swashbuckler is one
Yeah,
of our
yeah.
new.
he's
there,
got
there
backflips.
she
Oh,
goes.
wow, look at that.
Yeah.
Different combat abilities as well, like different, what's the word for it? Different movement. Very
Yes.
different movement with a sword.
Yeah, we've done a lot of pirates. We felt we needed to refresh things a bit. So yeah, we've done some additions to that, and that is by far the coolest addition.
Are we getting those weapons? Are we getting like rapiers and stuff?
I believe those weapons are part. So we have three different pirate sets, I believe, going out with this. One of them you earn just by doing the content. You unlock different pieces by doing different parts of content, and so you can unlock the whole outfit from quests and achievements. There's another one that will be coming later on as part of the Crown Store, and then there's also one a outfit that you earn just by questing called Zaji's outfit, which actually Jeremy can turn into really quick.
Yeah, I can show you that
Oh,
right
the
now.
funny guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you get his Dragon Guard version of the outfit just by doing one of the main quests.
You look like you're covered in sweets. That's actually pretty cool.
yeah, so we wanted to give a lot of like pirate themed stuff,
Yeah.
and just kind of reward that throughout the zone. And of course, there'll be stuff in the Crown Store as well that's kind of pirate themed. But
Gotcha.
I figured everyone loves pirates,
Yeah, of
so
course.
I love pirates. So let's work with pirate stuff.
Why not?
So this is Southgard, one of the objectives. There's a whole story around it as far as the questing and everything goes. So kind of uncover what's going on and what these people are doing. They're a bunch of slavers and pirates.
Mm-hmm.
We'll kind of work our way down to the south here. See if it can show it off. If you watch a stream, I'm sure you're familiar with Zaji's party boat.
Yes.
So the docks over here is the first place that you'll actually see it. And of course, you'll go on a grand adventure to get it back. Our way over here.
So has it been stolen?
Yeah. Well, stolen, parked in the wrong place, according to Zaji. It depends on who you ask. But yeah, the boat itself definitely plays a nice role in the actual main story. And plus it's just a cool looking boat, so go way over here. I actually came in from a weird angle, but as always, we'll have different achievements kind of tied into all the content. One of the achievements that you can earn in this area, you'll notice that you're kind of freeing slaves as you go kill people. So there's an achievement associated with freeing a certain amount of the slaves from pirates, and I'm not sure if there's a title associated with it or not, but it's something that you can unlock. You should see the party boat off in the distance, unless you've already done the quest. Yep. So we'll run over there really quick and show that off. Yeah, get through here. Hug around here, even though we can murder everything in our path.
The bad guys, you have to murder them.
Their whole role in life is to be murdered because they're bad.
Yep. He says while being a vampire. Oh, boss type thing.
Yep.
Admiral dead.
Admiral, yep. Admiral no longer with us. And someone's trying to kill us.
Company.
She's run away. She's scared. But yeah, so here's kind of an up-close look at the party boat. Again, you'll get to unlock it later on. It's used throughout the main quest, but it definitely fits Zaji's personality. The painting reflects where he's from, which is from the village of Black Heights, which we'll kind of visit a little bit later and go through some of that. But yeah, want to run through that area. Port over to the next area really quick, and then you can all jump to me here in a second.
Okay. Will you be able to get some of these for the Furnishing Store? Well, not necessarily the Furnishing Store, but Furnishing in-game regardless, whether it's the store or craftable, like all the flags and such that are on here?
I don't know, actually. I'd have to double check. Okay. That's one of those things that it's a good idea, and I think as people see that type of stuff, if we're not, it's something that we should pass on to the team that makes that stuff. Because I think there would be a want for that type of stuff to decorate things, especially if you have a house.
There's
the name of it with the boat. Yep.
Yeah, it's basically a very similar model to this, but obviously not as flamboyant. And it would be cool to decorate it with similar kind of ideas to it, so then you can kind of reminisce some of the story that you may have done.
Yeah, make your own party boat.
Yeah, exactly.
You can jump to them.
Travel to?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I know we have a plan. I'm not sure that it includes the boat furnishings. That's a very good point. We'll have to mention that.
It's got cannonballs at the side as well.
I think my favorite part, and it's silly, is the steering wheel lock.
Yeah, I saw that. It's completely
It just
changed.
entertains me. It's like the club for a boat. Or the boot.
The
boot. Well, they're pirates. They do everything over the top. They're like, yeah, we got a bunch of chains. We'll just, chain it up. Won't go anywhere.
There you are.
All right. So one of the things we wanted to do with Southern Elsewhere was definitely make it feel unique compared to
Okay.
Northern Elsewhere. With Northern Elsewhere, obviously, there's a lot of deserts, a lot of canyons. It's kind of very dry until you kind of get into the southern edge, which is more of the savanna part of it with some trees and stuff.
Mhm.
So with Southern Elsewhere, we want to obviously keep some familiarity. You're still in Elsewhere, but show that it's a completely different region. It's different climate, very different overall. So as we showed off in the previous region, which is more of our kind of the scorch, as we call it,
Yeah.
where the wildfires hit. We're getting into more of a swampy region, more of kind of the open plains area, a lot more greenery, a lot more water, different things like that.
Okay.
So hopefully as people are playing through this, it feels very different than Northern Elsewhere from an environmental standpoint.
Definitely getting that feeling, yeah, especially with all the uprooted trees and such.
Cool.
Really, really cool.
So as we come... Go ahead.
On, carry on. No, go for it. I just spotted something. You're going to talk about that anyway.
You see the giant green bubble over
Yep.
there? All right, cool. So yeah, as a matter of fact, I was. So the green bubble is part of the story of Year of the Dragon storyline.
Mm-hmm.
So this is, as kind of Jeremy mentioned, you will go to that island over there during that quest line, without giving anything away. There are slaughterfish over there. At least I think there are. I think I murdered some people by accident through one of the places. No, we're good.
Got me earlier.
Yeah, we're good here.
No, not today. You're not here. Okay. Let him lead.
Yeah. So, so one of the things we wanted to try to do is tell kind of a coherent story that had a beginning, middle, and end. And while we've always done that in the past, since you could play them in any order, sometimes you get confused. The Daedric Wars was a big one where Somerset wrapped it up, but you had Morrowind and Clockwork City and everything kind of led to it, and you could hop in any order and it would kind of make the story slightly confusing, but we tried to make it still make sense. With this, we wanted to say, hey, okay, we want to tell a complete story but not take any other content away from people.
Okay.
So when we did the Southern Elsewhere storyline, we wanted to make sure it was something that you could play that was standalone, that worked alongside what you were doing in Northern Elsewhere as well. So you can play this before Northern Elsewhere if you want. You can do them in any order. And then the actual Season of the Dragon storyline unlocks once you complete both of them. Because what will happen is you'll have allies and characters from both Northern Elsewhere and Southern Elsewhere coming together for the finale questline. And you'll work with your allies from there to kind of put a stop to the big bad. But it's something new we're trying. We figured in this way, since people could still technically play the chapter or DLC first, still had some flexibility as far as what you want it to do or how you want to go about it. But once you complete them both, we're still telling a story that's now going to make sense. You're going to know all the characters. Nothing's going to seem out of place. And you can't go and play it backwards in any way, which was always the problem that we ran into.
So it's kind of a progression stage where you are rewarded with extra content if you complete the other stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's actually really cool. That's something that a lot of people have. I'm sure you've heard it, but a lot of people have requested it in the past. Myself included to some extent. That's actually a really, really good idea. And it also adds that I really need to go there because you're looking at it and it's really, really engaging. You're like, what's over there? Damn, slaughterfish. So it kind of pushes you to get the stuff done, and then obviously you'll enjoy it a lot more because you get to see more. That's really cool.
Cool.
Big pig.
Yeah. So this is one of our new monsters, the bristleback. We've been trying to get a boar into the game for a while now, and I'm very happy with how it turned out. Lots of bacon.
Pumba. Wow.
Yeah, he doesn't turtle.
That effect, the frontal cleave, and the progression from start to finish, the kind of spread.
Yep.
That was really, really good.
Cool.
You've had that with some of your circle area effects against enemies like liches and stuff like that. That frontal one is not that common. In fact, that's relatively new.
Yeah, I want to say that's newer. Yeah. Yeah, one of the things that we're trying to do when we're making new monsters is kind of bring them up to the standards of where our new stuff is now. Okay. The dungeon team's really good about a lot of the telegraphed attacks and stuff like that. So we want to make sure. Yeah, we want to make sure that we're bringing that same level of kind of detail and kind of telegraphing to the overworld monsters now when we're building them as well. So hopefully, as we build new monsters for our new areas, they'll kind of have more of that type of stuff. But I'll definitely pass that on to the monster team too.
Yeah, that was a really good one, because I could see the telegraph very clearly, but I also had time to get out of it because I could see when it was going to peak, as opposed to just getting stood on.
And guessing.
Which I've never ever done, of course.
Never.
No.
So we are in a area known, and it's nighttime, which is nice.
Like a movie.
Yeah, it's nice over here. This area is known as the Moonlit Cove. One of the things about Khajiit is they're very, very, I don't want to say superstitious, but they're very religious. They have a lot of myths and mythos involving their gods and goddesses. And one of the things that they basically revere is moon sugar. It's used to make skooma. They use it in a bunch of other stuff, but it's a very holy thing to them. And so we want to kind of play up that idea of moon sugar, because one of the stories and lore is that they believe it's the teardrops of like goddesses that have fallen into the water, and it kind of drifts through the area between the oceans and the lakes and stuff. And one of the reasons is these glowing waters that you find, which may or may not be magical. We don't really know. But they've kind of come to honor it. And this place here, or the delve that we're in, Moonlit Cove, revolves around in a large abundance of this water, and kind of the priests that once, this was like a sacred place, so they built out shrines and everything to it. However, being a place of lawlessness and pirates have taken over the area, kicked them out, and now they're making dirty skooma.
Okay.
Yeah, so kind of see, we give you a preview down of where the boss area is. You can't get there, but I'm sure someone will try to find a way to get over that.
Okay.
One of the other things we wanted to kind of show here was kind of the effects of the water and how it has on plant life and the greenery. So there's a lot of glowing plants and flowers and just shrubbery in general. And we really wanted to, like, from a visual standpoint, we wanted to really make this place pop and show that it's kind of this almost mythical, eerie, luminescent style place. So it's fun just to come in here and run around and take a look at everything. You can look down and kind of see the water's really good here.
Yeah.
But yeah, just kind of doing some cool, interesting stuff with the area and kind of making not just so dark and dreary dungeon crawls that you go through on a delve, but giving them some pop and some life and have a cool story revolving around everything.
More interesting than get in, kill the boss, get the Sky Shard, get out.
Yeah. And you'll actually come here quite a bit because this is considered kind of a holy place. One of the things we want to do is we use this throughout multiple quests. So you'll come here and find hidden wings that you'll go into throughout the story. So we try to utilize the spaces more to give them more to do than just I come here for a delve and do nothing else.
Gotcha. Will there be... I'm probably going a bit too far ahead. Will there be any collectibles in here? Like you normally get like 7 to 10 pieces and you create like a pet or a memento or something like that. Will that be involved in this particular update in any of the delves?
Not in the delves. Yeah, you're talking like how the
public dungeons and such.
The public dungeons have, yeah. Yep. No, these still have kind of the same classification as the other delves. So you still have your Sky Shard. You'll have your delve boss. You'll have dailies that bring you here. There will be an achievements associated with this, but no like special loot or anything like that. There's no like puzzle pieces that you're putting together.
We obviously have a main quest for this particular place as well. The guy outside, I imagine.
Yep.
Okay.
So yeah, they'll have that too. So kind of your standards with that, but again, kind of utilizing the space a little bit more and doing more with it throughout the main quest too, so that it feels like this is a living world and not just a task that you're checking off on the map. One of the things, and if you watch the stream, you're familiar with it. If you're looking up there, the grapple point, the kind of little post up there. So yeah, so kind of touching on that a little bit. One of the things we really wanted to do, especially with making the content, was create new and interesting ways to traverse the environment, new and interesting ways of just getting from point A to point B. And so as you're doing the main quest, you will get the grappling bow, which I call it the Batman hook.
Yep.
And basically be able to utilize these throughout, not only kind of through the main quest, but also hidden in the world as well. There's a couple achievements associated with it. So there will be like a hidden grappling course somewhere in the wild that you have to find and overcome. And when you do it, you'll unlock an achievement as well as a unique title for doing that.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so, just trying to find ways of utilizing new and interesting ways to do content is one of the kind of the big themes with this. So kind of port out to our next area here. And while we're doing that, another thing kind of staying on that same topic is one of the things we wanted to do was introduce more interesting mechanics for quest types. And I imagine, have you played through the dungeons that we just released?
Yes.
Yeah, I figured. So I'm sure you're familiar with kind of the puzzle block. And yep. So one of the things we wanted to do, you can travel to us too now, by the way.
Okay.
One of the things we really wanted to do was, it was a cool mechanic, and we're like, how can we utilize that in quest content? How can we make that interesting? So we actually pulled that out, pulled it into a bunch of quest areas, and we're actually utilizing new types of puzzles with it. And we're doing, it's a lot less combat oriented with it and much more puzzle oriented. So there's multiple blocks in all the stages, different gates you have to open, moving blocks to different locations. So you kind of come across these big puzzle rooms where you'll have 3 or 4 blocks that you have to move to different spots to open up gates and move them around and stuff like that. Okay. So that'll be kind of a cool new type of content that people run across while doing quests that we thought was actually really interesting and engaging. So
it's probably too early to ask.
Yep.
But the grapple points, obviously that's a new thing. Do you have any intention on using that later for less solo content, or is it mostly going to be towards quests?
I'll let Jeremy answer that.
You might not be able to answer that one.
Finn would say player testable.
That sounds like Rich.
It is definitely something that's come up. We find it interesting.
Okay.
That's all I'll say.
Fair enough. I
No
can
spoilers.
accept that. It'll do for now.
Stay tuned. That's all I can
Indeed.
say. All right, so we're working our way up to Black Heights, which is into our third biome type, which is the southern edge of Tenmar Forest. It gets a lot more overgrowth, a lot more trees in this area, just kind of generally flowery and very vibrant, which is nice. We're going to go visit my favorite place in the zone first, which is the Temple of the Alfik.
Mm-hmm.
We showed this off a little bit on stream, but the whole idea around Black Heights is they're a very artistic village. As you can see from these rocks, they use like tiny little cat paws to paint pictures.
I facepalmed so hard when I saw this. They look really, really cool, and then I saw these little cats in outfits. Oh no!
Yeah, I figured if you do nothing else but put little tiny house cats in cute outfits,
you win.
You're good.
Basically,
you win. Yeah, all you need to do. We're just going to do a whole zone of nothing but cats and little outfits. So there's our guard, Zarkier. He's a good guard. He just had to stand. But yeah, so we definitely want to play up the idea of the Alfik being more of kind of a magical race.
Yeah.
And not just normal house cats, even though you don't want to call them that to their face. So this temple is devoted to one of the Aedra Canarthi. And actually, again, plays a very major role in the main story here. So you'll be visiting this area several times. I imagine people will just be hanging out here petting cats, or, as close to petting as you can.
I am going to wolf out in here.
No justice gameplay in here, so you can't murder the kitties. So,
I can make a video look like that. It's fine.
That's the Canarthi Temple. Something to kind of touch on is you'll notice these bells kind of in the area with different little color codes, as well as this bell in the center.
Okay.
This is another one of our puzzle types that we kind of use throughout the main quest. It's musical and visual, so for people who are hearing impaired or colorblind, there's still ways to solve it. But
cool.
What's cool about these is these are all available, I believe, through the achievement furnisher. So as you do stuff, you'll be able to actually purchase not only this, but the actual bells around here to put in your house as well.
That's pretty cool, actually.
So, yeah, excited to get that out. The art team did a bang-up job with that stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
So, we'll kind of walk back here to Black Heights proper. show off the village. Kind of touching on, things that players will be able to purchase through the achievement furnisher. I believe they will also, I can't remember if they just earn it or it's through the achievement furnisher as well, but they'll be able to purchase the rocks as well to put in their house.
Oh, with all the paw prints on them?
Yep.
Nice.
So we'll have a couple of different groupings of those that the player will be able to earn or buy as well. So if they want to do up their house and paw print kitty art, they can.
It's going to happen.
So we'll kind of work our way up through here. One of the things about this village is, as you can see, they're very artistic. They believe in kind of painting their stories on these rocks so that they'll kind of live on forever. And their main thing that they use, however, besides that, is something called the Wall of Life. Kind of this wall memorial for Khajiit who are about to pass on from the village. They will come up to this area and write their final kind of story or the tale of their lives. And that way people can come back at any time and kind of look at their paintings and see, it's almost like a farewell message in a way. But, so if Grandma Khajiit passes on, they can go see Grandma Khajiit's story at the Wall of Life. So it's a very sacred thing to them. It has a lot of symbolism. But, of course, that also means that, bad people want to do bad things to it.
Gotcha.
So,
what was that blue stuff?
So that may be a influence of a otherworldly type creature that is causing problems here. That's all I can really say.
That may be something to look into later. That's quite testable, I take it.
Yes. Yes, there may be answers found within the content.
No spoilers.
Yep. So we showed this off on stream too, but it's definitely cooler to see it in person.
Yeah.
Roll around.
Let me close down my chat window there so people can't talk in local chat. There we go.
And this is the Wall of Life in a really bad state currently.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's huge. This thing is bonkers in size. And part of what you'll be trying to do through the quest is cleansing it. And it'll look beautiful when it's done. When you complete this quest, you'll actually get a cool memento that is reminiscent of the Wall of Life. We showed this off. Let Jeremy show it on his character.
Where is it?
Got to find it first.
Sorry, I'm pressing the wrong button, so let me try it again.
Have you got it?
Here you go. Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
All right. There we go.
Do it.
It's one of my favorite mementos in the game. It's just so cool looking.
Wow.
Yeah, so we give that away in the quest. So you'll get that by completing this area. And then you can show off your artsy side to all your friends.
This is actually really cool.
All right, so we will head to the last area of our tour here, the Dragonguard Sanctum. So to kind of cover the idea of, as we kind of mentioned, and for the main story, the idea here is you're rebuilding the Dragon Guard itself with Sai Sahan, and throughout the quest, that's kind of the main purpose of it. But one of the things that we wanted to do that was a little different, because there are dailies associated with the Dragon Guard, we want to push it a little bit further. We want to make it feel more like, hey, this isn't just something I'm coming and doing every day for a loot box, for either a set piece or a chance for a motif drop.
Yeah.
You can travel to us too now, by the way. So one of the ideas that we had early on was, how do we make it feel like you're actually rebuilding the Dragon Guard? Can we utilize that with the dailies? So what we've created is a set of milestones through achievements that the player can hit as they're doing the quest. Now this counts towards the main quest as well. So every time you complete one of the main story quests, you also get achievement progress towards this. In the 2 daily types, which will be dragon hunts, which are just like the Northern Elsewhere ones. You'll be assigned to go kill a dragon somewhere in Southern Elsewhere. And then a set of unique dailies from another quest giver that will also count. And those dailies are shareable amongst other group members, so you can actually complete more than one. If you want, if they get another one than you can share amongst yourselves and do that, and you'll actually get credit for all of them. We don't cap that. But they are just daily, so there'll be one available to you per day. But again, if a group member gets a different one, wants to share it, you could technically do more than one a day.
Hey, that's different.
Yeah, I want to say we did something similar in the Thieves Guild, or one of the older guild contents where you could do that.
Looking at the dragon then as well.
Oh, yep. So,
Jeremy
from a
showing
lore
off a cool
standpoint,
pet.
yeah, I can't help it. It's toys. From a lore standpoint, dragons are not born. So baby dragons don't exist in our game.
Yeah. They're magical imps that transform into dragons.
That is quite cool.
Isn't that neat?
That is.
Yeah, I thought that was turned out really well.
Sorry,
So
is,
totally
is the
distracted,
daily
right?
thing capped at 30 for the achievement, like all the rest of them?
I
Or the majority of them?
want to say, gosh, I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay.
Yeah, so I can't answer it right now. I do know that the total number of quests currently to unlock everything in the Sanctum is 30 Dragon Guard quests in total. So
Okay.
it's different. But yeah, to wrap that up, one of the ideas we want to do was, as you're doing these quests, you're rebuilding the Sanctum. And so from a cosmetic standpoint, you see more NPCs rolling in, the area gets a lot more lively, there's more people to talk to. But we also want to do more than that. I mean, it's cool to see people there, but
Yeah.
we want to reward the player with more systematic stuff. So there's 4 different tiers of things that you'll unlock as you do these. The first one's very basic. You just unlock a vendor. The second one that you'll unlock is you'll actually notice this door is barred
vendor?
off. Yeah, just a regular cooking vendor that you can sell goods at.
Oh, okay.
Just a merchant.
Oh, that's cool, actually.
Yeah, and this section is locked off. That'll be an area you actually unlock. Behind that is the Dragon Guard Armory, which is one of our crafting set locations. So the only way to actually unlock that crafting set is by doing these quests.
Okay.
Then, as you continue to progress, other things you'll unlock is you'll unlock the achievement furnisher. Actually unlocks during this process.
Okay.
You'll get a unique quest that's only available here. When you unlock it, it allows you to, once you do it, you get a extra loot drop from a dragon. That's a unique alchemy ingredient that you are able to make special potions with.
Oh, the new one. Yeah, I saw that.
Yep. So the only way to get that quest is by unlocking it, and once you do it, then it becomes available for that character, and any dragon you kill, you'll get that extra ingredient.
Okay.
And then the final unlock is a free loot box, basically. Every 24 hours, you'll come to the sanctuary, you can loot a chest, and it'll have a bag of goodies, including reagents and a bunch of other stuff. And you'll be able to come every day and loot it. We did something similar like that in the Dark Brotherhood, but we wanted to make sure there's some good stuff in there too. So there'll be some rare reagents and stuff. I don't know what else is exactly in there right now. I know the itemization team was working on it, but we want to make it feel like a good reward for something like a goodie bag that you can come and get every day for going through the work of actually unlocking everything.
There's quite a lot of progression involved and a lot of unlocks for doing extra stuff rather than just grinding out for the sake of finishing an achievement. That's actually pretty good.
Yeah, we want it to give an end goal, basically. It's again with dailies, you do them for a reason. You're either grinding them out for trying to get a set piece or you're trying to get a motif drop. So we want to really kind of give a end goal.
Yeah.
Not necessarily we don't want you to stop necessarily doing them once you achieve it, but at least you're feeling rewarded for doing it, as opposed to just kind of a mindless grind that happens sometimes after you've done it 10 or 15 times.
And a sense of progression.
Yep.
Oh, you see I'm wearing the Dragon Guard mask.
Yes. While you're showing off all your toys, what is that Predator mask?
That is the mask that you get for completing the zone story, I believe.
Yes.
You know what my account details are, so you can send me that if you want.
I'll just mail it straight to you. Doesn't it look awesome?
It does.
Yep.
Can you color it?
I don't know. I assume so. It is.
Ad, I believe.
Yeah,
That is
I'm pretty sure you
really
can. I'm just
awesome.
not positive. And then yes, this is, if I am correct, this is what you actually use in the zone story.
Yep.
I might change my main character's mask for the first time in 2 years.
I love the dreads on it.
Yeah, it's
Amazing.
really good.
Yep, you called it. It totally reminds me of Predator.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the things we want to do is, I don't know if it's the most, but there are a lot of rewards just for doing the content in this release.
Yeah,
So
I
lots
noticed that.
of costumes, hats, furnishings, I think one of the goals we've had is we want to reward the player, make them feel like they can achieve a lot of the stuff and get a lot of the cool things they want from the game directly. Oh, the dragon horn he used is from the prologue quest. You earn that when that goes live a week or two.
Yeah, you had a real one of those on the stream, and I can't get those in the UK, I don't think.
Oh, you can't? Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that's the drinking horn.
Yeah, I'm the one that likes beer.
Yup, it's sitting on Rich's desk. Definitely has been used.
That's really cool. So you have got so many like mementos and visual gains and stuff in terms of how you look for your furniture, your costumes, your masks, all that kind of stuff. There's loads and loads of things to unlock. It's I'm not going to say overwhelming, but it's definitely a benefit rather than just grinding out the quests because you should. It's really really nice.
Yeah, I think the goal is obviously there's the players who really enjoy the content for just doing the content and the story and stuff. But you also have the players who they want to do this stuff, they want to get the XP, they cleared out their completionists. But we want to reward those people too. So you always feel, even like our small little side, like 5 to 10 minute pieces of content, we call them independent quests. A lot of those are where you earn the outfit pieces for one of the pirate outfits. So even like little side quests, you'll like, oh, okay, cool, I just earned the glove piece for this, and all I did was found like a mysterious pirate cat somewhere and did something for him.
That's actually pretty cool, because some of the base game stuff from the very obviously early release, some of the side quests there are kind of, you help someone with their dog, they give you 50 gold. I mean, if you're a completionist, you want to finish them all, but you feel like it's a bit of a drag for a couple of them. When you're actually introducing prizes like that for something so small, it actually feels worthwhile going out and seeking them all. That's really cool, as well as the story as well, because some of them are quite funny.
Thank you.
Awesome. So we got 4 minutes, and then I'm going to have to run. Any questions? Anything we didn't cover?
Performance-wise, I mean, obviously Neil was going to ask that. How much can you talk about in regards to your combat alterations in terms of performance? Because I have a question. I don't know if you can answer it or not, because it might be leading too much into later stuff.
My guess is I can't answer it for a myriad of reasons. The main one being that's more of a combat or gameplay side sort of question. I know kind of a broad strokes of what our meta plan is. I know, and it comes of our current plan for doing some hard coding. Okay. We are doing it slowly but surely, just a little bit at a time, to start to slowly pull some of those passives, for example, off of the...
That's what I'm kind of considering. Basically, I saw that some of your changes to your more recent gear consolidated armor resistances. I know you probably can't answer if that's something you're going to do with the champion points, because that's later, but how much of a benefit is that in terms of the back end side for performance, where you're not having to calculate 2 different resistance types or buff types with that particular trait? So before you have like spell and physical, and now it's kind of all into one. Does that have a massive benefit so far, like progression wise, towards your overall goal?
I don't believe so, though. I can't really speak to that. That's more of a combat sort of thing.
I'm tiptoeing into it, seeing what you can and can't answer.
Oh yes, of course. Well,
because obviously with that, I anticipate that you'll probably end up doing the same with penetration, and then consolidating CPs, and then back end means you don't have to calculate so much towards that. I was wondering how far so far with whatever you're doing have you seen? I mean, like percentage wise in performance, can you say, we're having say 10% less freezes or something to that effect? Can you see anything so far that's substantial your end that the player may recognize?
My understanding, I can't speak to that in general, but my understanding is that the major changes we will see will be for this go around because of the memory management and less about the hard coding, and that'll predominantly show on consoles with less crashes.
That's a good answer.
So it's actually a lot less about the hard coding, and it's more about the memory management, which was a pretty substantial improvement, though it is again the first step in that direction.
You've done this before with awkward questions. That was a very good answer.
All right, dude, I have like literally 1 minute, and then I'm supposed to be interviewing someone.
Okay, so let's finish it up without any complicated questions. What is your most exciting part of this DLC in terms of seeing it performance, seeing the response from the community, in fact, whether it be visual or story or anything like that? What do you find is the most exciting for you?
No, that is a great question. I think the most exciting part of this DLC is going to be the community. I think the community is going to be Honestly, what I have found really heartwarming is how much people have really identified with our characters. I actually felt the same with Elsewhere relative to Chimera. It was amazing to me how much people really, grabbed onto her and thought how awesome she was. And I felt similarly with the love that we're seeing for Zaji and Casca. That's been super fun, because we like to build these characters and then see that people are really into them, and that's been nice for me. Also, it was a lot of fun to be able to bring back Abner and Sai, and see them and their interactions. It's silly, but I love to hate him. I'm talking about Abner, not Sai.
Abner Farm's awesome.
Just for the record, he is so awesome and snide. So it was cool to bring him back as well.
Okay.
And then when it comes to, and you haven't played the Capper, obviously, or maybe you have, but when you get to the epilogue and you have 2 zones worth of groups of people together, it really feels like we brought a large story together.
So it's an achievement for you to see that people appreciate the new characters as much as the old ones.
Yep, yeah, and yes, that is a great way of putting it. Yeah, because we put a lot of love into these characters, and it's really cool to see people go, hey, this is somebody we love, because it's hard to tell sometimes.
Okay.
Mike, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to bring in a hard stop there, because we've all got things we've got to scoot off to. So, but yeah, if there's anything you want to follow up on, you can always drop me a line, and then I can chat to the guys and just get additional points or anything that you need added in.
Absolutely fine. You guys do what you've got to do.
Thanks for coming, man.
No worries. Thank you very much for this. Hugely appreciated.
All right.
Thank you.
Take care.
See you again soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.